So welcome everyone. Really happy to see everyone here. My name is Dawn and I'm the guiding teacher here at Insight Santa Cruz, and it gives me great delight to introduce my longtime mentor, teacher, spiritual friend, Gil Fronsdal, longtime friend of Insight Santa Cruz. And Gil, as many of you know, is the senior co-guiding teacher at Insight Meditation Center in Redwood City, and also is senior teacher at Insight Retreat Center here in Santa Cruz. So he is here to talk about Dharma of Sangha. And excited to have you, Gil. Thank you so much for coming.
Thank you for having me. So let's see. So now it exists. And you're my talking speakers, and you don't exist. This is a little bit loud for me. Is it okay for you? It's okay. I'll deal with it.
No, I can turn it down.
Well, if it's good for everyone else, I'll manage. Well, I'm delighted to be here. And so it's kind of going along with the theme for today. I explained that one of my delights is that I'm just happy to see what will happen here today. I get to teach. Because I teach freely, I kind of not obligated. I don't have to do a good job. And I can just kind of see what happens, what goes on. And so that brings me some delight, and delight that the topic is a Dharma of Sangha, and to share with you a little bit what has been behind the foundation for IMC, and maybe some of that will translate to the foundation for Insight Santa Cruz. And I love Insight Santa Cruz. I feel connected to it from the beginning. Many of you might know, but the founding teacher, Mary Grace Orr, we're kind of like we are Dharma siblings. And because we were in the teacher training together. And so when we taught for years and years, we taught together, mostly up in Vajrapani. Sometimes it's Spirit Rock, someplace elsewhere. And so, I heard the very beginnings of the late 80s and what was happening here, and slowly developed and grew. And I would come down and sometimes teach and support the whole scene. And so that's a really nice connection for me, just through her and through the community for many years. And then we started the Sati Center for Buddhist Studies, and key people, starting in 1997, were key people from Insight Santa Cruz, Richard Shankman, Ruth Stiles, get who else was, but Jonathan Westfall, thank you very much. And so that's a broader connection also. And then when we were at Vajrapani, we got to meet Tenzin Joki, and she was Petra, and she was a director. So for many years, over 30 years now, I've known her in that capacity, and we go up there every year to teach retreats. And so for her to be part of Insight Santa Cruz now just adds to the richness of it all, the history. And then Bob Stahl, is a wonderful man, and we're friends, Dharma friends. I'm delighted that, to be somehow here supporting what my friends have fostered for all these years, the community. And then when we brought our Insight Santa Cruz down, Insight Retreat Center here, we weren't focused on, it was in Santa Cruz. Really, we were not thinking we were going to do a retreat center in Santa Cruz at all. And we looked for places for 5 years to replace it. And they kept telling me, Gil, there's this place down in Santa Cruz or Scotts Valley, they said, or something. And I said, it's too far. And then they said, finally, I said, okay, well, I'm going down to Elkhorn Slough with my son to go kayaking. So I'll stop and see. So I pulled into the driveway there and looked up and I said, oh, I think this will work. And then I went kayaking. And so I wasn't really thinking about that it was in Santa Cruz. But what happened was the Insight Santa Cruz community kind of welcomed us so wholeheartedly and stepped up and supported in all kinds of ways. And it was like this joining of these two communities that have been siblings for all these years, Insight Meditation Center and Insight Santa Cruz, and a place to meet and support each other. That made the connection richer. So Insight Santa Cruz has been in my heart for many years, and love to see it succeed. And the fact that it has its own center like this is fantastic. So I'm just delighted to be here and with you all and to offer a little bit of what I've learned over these years and explore things with you. So thank you. So the idea was to do a short meditation, and I'll offer some reflection at the very end of it, near the end of it, for you to sit with on this theme. So to take a meditation posture that is appropriate for you. That allows you to feel some degree of trust. Maybe trusting the chair holding you up. There's a long history of Buddhism of trusting the very place where you're meditating. Sometimes the very spot you're meditating is called that place of awakening. Your place. The posture then helps you call on whatever trust you have from your body, not the body itself, and your trust of mindfulness of the body. Relax your body, relax and settle down, to received by your chair, cushion. Maybe there can be some trust. It's okay to relax your thinking mind. Exhale. These few minutes, it's safe to be in community, safe enough to be thinking of something. Offer some reflection. See if you can remember some time that you were in community, in Sangha, maybe meditation, spiritual community, where you felt the benefits of being in community. Safe in it. Remember a bit about the occasion, maybe how you felt, maybe in your heart, your body. Sit with this time, maybe several times. You felt some benefit being in Sangha. And as you take in, recognize its benefits. Consider how you can bring those benefits. Spiritual Insight Santa Cruz. This community provides that for others who come here. This short meditation to close. May it be that our gathering and support, nourishment, food from Insight Santa Cruz, together, Sangha, spiritual community, are. May the goodness of this meeting impact to benefit this world, which there is so much that needs. Sit silent. Dharma of Sangha. Dharma is found in Sangha, and Dharma is revealed in your Sangha life. That I am what I am today as a Buddhist practitioner, as a teacher, very much because I practice in community. I don't think I ever would have practiced as long as I did, as much as I did, if I hadn't been practicing with other people. It encouraged me, it inspired me to keep going, gave momentum to my practice. I learned from people, I was inspired. I was wonderfully Dharma challenged by people, sometimes in welcoming ways, sometimes in not so welcoming ways, but still wonderfully challenged and grew in the process. And I'm very confident on my own, if I've just been taught meditation and sent off someplace to practice by myself, I just wouldn't have practiced as much as I did. I would have continued and gone deeper. And I think that was probably true for many, many teachers. And so part of what, as a teacher myself, wanted to share the benefits I've had from the practice with others. And then it becomes, this idea of sharing the benefits of being in community, practicing community. It's part of what I want to really emphasize. And so I'm very happy to be able to do that today. Also, a lot of what I learned about the benefits of practicing community, I learned from practicing at the Sangha and Sangha. And that was a very community-focused, intentionally focused practice. So much so in Japan, Soto's in Japan, you're actually not supposed to, in your monastery, you're actually not supposed to meditate alone. You're supposed to always do it in community. And then actually, if you went off to meditate by yourself in the Zendo, they would kind of think that was weird. That's saying a wild thing. And because then you're doing selfish, they would say, in Japan. You're doing something self-centered. But by practicing community, you're clearly practicing together with, together for each other in a wonderfully supportive way. And so some of that was conveyed to the United States through the Sangha Center. It wasn't quite as strong as it was in Japan. But I certainly learned from them the tremendous value of practicing in community and the value of supporting each other, guiding each other. And being, yes.
Could you move the microphone a little closer to your mouth? Our friends are having trouble hearing you.
Oh, but that may be. There's also my one switch to Yeah. Am I talking softer? Let's see. Nothing yet. Hello?
Yeah.
Is it fainter now?
Yeah. I don't know if it's fainter for them.
That it was louder.
It's louder in here.
They're saying things.
Mm-hmm.
Gil, maybe ask them for a sound check. Like ask the people online to chat.
There's people up there?
Yeah.
So, is this any better for you guys there, the sound? Okay, good. Yeah, yes or no? Yes. I can't see any response. It's not working in here.
Lots of yeses.
It's on, but it's not very loud. Oh, I'm supposed to be kissing it.
Now they're nodding.
Yeah, that's fine.
Well, we'll see. That works. Okay? Okay. Well, I hope I feel either professional or I feel kind of tied up.
They're saying much better.
Much better, good. So one of the many things I learned about being in community at Zen Center. One of the most important, I don't know what's most important, but one of the very important ones is that we grow in the Dharma when we care for the community in which we're practicing. That it could be a two-way movement. Let's see, is that a little bit better? So a two-way movement that we are growing and developing by practicing the community. But if you then turn around and support the community you're practicing in, then it's you continue to grow. And one of the ways that was kind of maybe jokingly or something talked about at the Insight Center was you get all this merit in the practice, and you want to give it all away because then you get even more. It's like that song about love. Give it away, end up having more. But it's kind of like that way with merit. So you just want to kind of keep offering back, supporting back, as much as makes sense for you, because you benefit from a lot of that. And this kind of mutual benefit, kind of reciprocal benefit, I really inspired me. And then in the course of being in community, Buddhist communities all over, everywhere I've been, I learned that from the outside, Buddhist communities can look like they're angelic. On the inside, they never are. And part of that is that a lot of the people who come to Buddhist community really need help. That's why they're there. And some of them have all kinds of issues, challenges, and stuff. And so I learned that it's going to be challenging to be in a Buddhist community. But the idea was that it's supposed to be a good place to have those challenges. And it's not always the case, but I've tried to find a way for these communities to be, if you're going to be in conflict with someone, do it there. So that you have some kind of way. I've written ethics documents for Zen Center, for Spirit Rock, for ISC. I think in all of them there's some statement that goes something like this, that Buddhist communities are not, the health of a Buddhist community is not the absence of conflict. The health of a Buddhist community is the ways in which they're able to deal with the conflict. And so we should really find a way to be in conflict in healthy ways. And I've seen so much benefit for myself staying very present for a lot of the conflicts that can exist in Buddhist communities and growing from it. I've also seen so much benefit from the way that the opposite of conflict came my way. I remember when my sister was deathly sick and being a new student at Zen Center and having the man eventually became the abbot, Steve Stuckey, listened to me and hear me out with such compassion. I'd never been the recipient of someone else's compassion in such a clean, beautiful, settling way for me. And so to have that as a model, as an example, there were expressions of generosity that I didn't grow up with a lot of expressions of generosity in some ways, but I started seeing at Zen Center all these ways in which people would just be offering generously. I also saw that at Zen Center that the idea was to serve, to practice in community without any desire for financial remuneration. And for a long time, there was no stipend or anything for being there. At some point, I did get a wonderfully rich stipend working at Green's restaurant 5.5 days a week. I loved it. And the pay was astounding. I got paid $60 a month. And but that was part of the context of that. I was a monk. This was Zen, and Greens was just another monastic setting in which you were assigned to work. I was assigned to go to change eventually. And but the idea was just to offer, serve, and without any concern for return. And when I became a teacher, that became important because in being a teacher at Zen Center, it was lovely to just watch people be teachers there, because one day you're washing dishes with them, and then next day they're teaching you, because they were quite fluid in their roles. Sometimes they had lots of different kind of roles in the monastery that overlapped in different kind of ways. And I remember I was really inspired with Ed Brown, who was great teachers there in the days. He was president of Zen Center when I first got there. And then when I first went to work at Greens, he stopped being president. He became the busboy. And this fluidity of your roles and moving between them, ready to do whatever is needed. If you graduate to become the senior monk, not the senior teacher, but the senior kind of training monk, you get to do clean all the bathrooms. That's your job. And so the idea that you do anything and everything, and just serve, and that translated also to teaching. And then you would just wait until you were invited to teach. And then if someone invited you to teach, that was your practice for that day. And then if you finished teaching, then you had to go back to do your dishes or whatever else you had to do. And so there's no idea that you're receiving money or receiving anything. You're just offering the teachings freely in a nice way. And that inspired me greatly. This idea that Dharma is offered freely, opportunities offered freely. I was supported by Zen Center to be there for the years I was there. Then I went to Asia and experienced the same beautiful support there. There it's really inspiring to practice in countries like Thailand and Burma and just feel tangibly, visibly, the ways in which people will come and support those who are meditating in monasteries. And sometimes it was maybe a little bit odd, maybe, but sometimes it troubled me a little bit. Like when I received some food to have for my meal, and it was nice I was given food because I needed to eat, but there was a can of maybe fish or something, and it said for USA. I was getting the food, and so that was kind of odd. Or had people who are really, 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 really poor and coming and just offering me something, a little piece of something. And I felt, wow, I have to really practice hard now for them. And that wasn't a burden to have that feeling. I was inspired. It's not just for me, now it's for them too. And so when I started teaching in Palo Alto in 1990, I followed that maxim that you should only teach if you're invited. And so I would show up every Monday evening and teach. I didn't do anything until someone invited me. How about doing something else? How about doing something else? And at some point, after about 2 years, I thought it's a little bit of a fantasy or fiction, this idea, because it grew into, it was implicit that I was invited to be the leading teacher, the guide, and to be the one who has a little bit of vision for how the community will grow next. Now let's have this, let's do one day sitting, let's have a class on that. And that was really my job. It was implicit invitation to have that. But one of the things I really felt early on, that not to require anything of anybody who came, and to make it really, really simple, just open door, and not to charge or anything. Already that was the custom. But I felt that to give every opportunity for those who wanted to have an opportunity to volunteer, because of this principle that it's really healthy in the Dharma to support the place that you're practicing. And so it was more work back in the early days to have volunteers than not. because the jobs are really, really simple. I could do it myself easily. But I felt it was so important to have other people do that. Because in volunteering, not only they feel some sense of purpose, some sense of generosity, some sense of including a practice and service, but they're also entering into the community, knowing people more, being known more, being part of the rich network of the people who are involved in a different way than just coming and leaving. And so slowly, every time there was a little opportunity, so I would have people volunteer. And early on, I gave someone the key to the room for the church that we had. And I said, "Oh, now you're the president of ISC." And because I just wanted to empower people, so people feel like they could step into that role and see what would happen. And there were times as we grew when I asked anybody who would like to volunteer, more people would volunteer to be a volunteer than we had roles to do, things to do. And I felt sad by that because I could see how meaningful it was for people to be volunteering in the community. And the art of it was to do it in such a way that no one ever felt obligated to do it. And that it was all just generosity. It was all just extra. And so I practiced something called responsible irresponsibility. So the idea I was basically irresponsible, but I tracked it very carefully to be just irresponsible, just so it kept working. Meaning that I could do things much more responsibly at IMC. But then I think the feeling would get tight. Like it has to be just right in this way. I didn't want that tight feeling. I wanted volunteers to come and feel like they had the freedom to just do what they could do and what they could offer. And if they didn't want to offer it, not do it. Just only what inspired them. So I would tell people who are president of IMC, and I probably told that to Susan, I hope I told you, that she was president of this and that you don't have to do what the previous president did. Just do what works for you. But if something that's presidential needs to be done, you're not going to do it. Just tell us, and then the whole system will work around it. And I didn't want things to be set up so we have to do them. So like we have this big thing about reporting, right? Audio Dharma. And I would tell reporters, we don't have to post these things. It's okay. We're so great that you do it. It serves so many people. It's wonderful. Go to bed happy that you're contributing to, so many benefits to so many people. But if you don't push the button, or if you can't show up that day, it's completely fine. We're not trying. There's something to talk about. And so this idea of creating this atmosphere where people could feel like they could be themselves and be generous without feeling restricted or feel like they had to. I would sometimes say the only thing we need is the key to open the door and a good treasure. And that everything else was kind of extra. I also would say that IMC is collapsible. We don't have to preserve it the way it is. It doesn't have to do as much as we do. And because that's the usual way of organizations that have to protect it, to build it, to do it. We're very different. We don't have to. We're just here to, everything we do is extra. We're just like cream on the cake. And so it's wonderful what we do. It's beneficial. And I believe in it. I get that from my heart. It's a good thing to do. But it doesn't have to be done. We don't, because then the have to is maybe more attachment, more greed, more assertiveness. So let's do it in a way that everyone just feels happy to do it. And so many times I'd come to IMC and I'd see that someone had taken care of something on their own without checking with them. And I didn't even know it needed to be done. And like just happened recently, we ran out of paper towels. Lo and behold, people came back, went out and got paper towels without anyone asking them. Small thing, but just kind of just make available people feel responsible, they feel connected, they want to do it, but nothing's required. There's an art to that, and I was sometimes told that my attitude was disrespectful of people's hard work, and so I had to kind of learn how to apply this balance between deep respect and appreciation for what they do. I didn't want to let up on this kind of ease which were collapsible. And at some point in IMC in the early 2000s, I forbade us to grow it. The red stock is growing. I can't do more programs. You know, it's already stretched. That didn't work. So in this process, the idea was to really make room for the best of people to come forward and to celebrate that, to support that, to make room for that, make it possible without anybody feeling obligated that they have to. We have an open door policy. Sometimes I think of IMC as basically the village square. That is, you know, like all these people come, just drop in for the day, they want to out, and, you know, we've never seen them before, and there's all kinds of different of life. We're not a congregation. We have membership that, you know, it's about bonded, set group of people. It's really kind of like almost like an extension of the streets of the people coming and going. So the idea was to be very open that way. Anybody could come, and then try to make. So this is, you know, crazy to say this, but it's true. Try to make IMC be something for everyone. And basically, the idea was we just say yes. So, but always in relationship. That IMC was based on relationship. When we got too abstract about what we should do and needed to do, or without any human relation to someone with those to kind of understand the reason for it, and then it often didn't work. And so there was really kind of, we're like heart to heart, or person to person, one hand to one hand, we sometimes say. And so relationships are really important. To care for them in the right way, finding a way to make them grow, build, and support was part of the art of kind of how, you know, IMC grew and developed. And then allowing people to be there explicitly in all the different ways that people meet a community. Some people want to sit in the back row by the wall for 10 years without talking to anyone, literally. And I've had people come up to me and say, Gil, thank you, I've come here every week for 10 years. It's been such an important part of my life. Who are you? I didn't recognize them. So I was really strange. Theirs, I don't. They're sitting behind people. It was a bit awkward once when, a couple of years ago, someone was like that for a long time. But he would leave it every Sunday morning, go to his place. The wife just kind of thought it was the Buddhist church. And she had all associations of the church that maybe she grew up in. So when the man died, she contacted us. And I didn't know who this was. And I couldn't figure it out. They didn't know anybody else who knew who it was. And the wife thought we were going to come and do the church thing. But like, who is this? So it took a while. Finally, we figured out who it is. I recognized him by a photograph, and we found someone who had been his friend. It took a while, but he didn't want to be. He sat in the back. That's what he wanted. That's what he wanted. Other people want to be in community the first time they come. The first time they come to IMCU, everyone knows they're here. And they're so friendly and warm, and they're ready to be in community. And in between that, there's awkwardness because some people would like to be in community, but they're shy. It's a meditation group, and so it's a welcoming place, but no one says hello. Everyone looks at it. Closes their eyes. And so people have associations with that it feels like we're unfriendly because of that, but it's we're not usually very unfriendly. But so there is a kind of this freedom and permission to be as we are. And for years, we tried to figure out how to have a leader more. We couldn't get it to work until after the pandemic, when we had to check people off, they had COVID. And then we figured out, this is how you do it. You have a table with the virtual. And now we have it. It was great. So this idea that Dharma is a lot of Dharma practice is learning to not cling, to be unattached. And in that non-clinging, to have space for friendliness, for kindness, for generosity. And that the foundation of what we're doing is generosity, a culture of generosity. And that's one of the themes for this, why I wanted to come here today, because it's a fundraiser for Insight Santa Cruz. And when we have it, we often talk about we're a Dharma-based community. I kind of don't want to say that because even that gives a long flavor. Nowadays, what I like to say, we have a culture of generosity that works in all directions. And a culture means that it's embedded in all the little things that we do. There's so much that people open the door, that people clean the bathroom, clean the floor, or people do the website, or people who do the admin. It goes on and on. The board members, it goes on. All these people that come and offer something to make this work. Our generosity is to offer your practice. To come to a place like Insight Santa Cruz, just to practice in community, is a gift. Because people are supported very much to practice in community. You learn so much by osmosis, by meditating in silence with people. So even though if you don't feel generous, it's a gift anyway to be here practicing. Maybe you feel the gift of others feel the gift of you being there. And so this culture of generosity is made up of so many different pieces. Whereas if you say we're Dharma-based, it emphasizes, at least in Buddhist English these days, it emphasizes the financial economy of place. And that's the financial economy of place is very, very important. But you would always be emphasizing that rather than emphasizing that culture of generosity. Maybe it's not as useful. And then we emphasize the culture of generosity, then hopefully the financial support is there kind of in a simple way, obvious way, full way. I've been deeply moved and changed by the recipient of people's generosity. And I receive a lot of it from the people who support the ISC. They're supporting me. It's not so separate from it all. And I've been supported financially to care for my family and live in a place like Redwood City. And that's no small thing to be able to do that. And so for me, it's kind of sacred to be supported this way. And so I feel very conscious that when I receive financial support, that's from ISC, that I should be very mindful of how I use that money as the source of which it came from. To respect it, somehow the intention behind it to continue to operate. And that's changed me. It's made me a better person to have that kind of consideration that I would not have had if I paid for it. If I got a salary. And as I kind of joked earlier, I don't like the idea of being paid. And then I have to do my job. and then I'm kind of like, part of what Dharma teacher is, what a Buddhist community is the medium as the message. And so the medium, just everything operating in the field of generosity, that's a powerful message. Even if you don't do it 100% well, it's a powerful message that is meant to really support our appreciation, valuing, loving a heart which doesn't cling to. A heart that doesn't cling is a heart that can be generous. A heart that doesn't cling is a heart that can love. A heart that's not closed is a heart that's open for others. It's ready for compassion. And so the medium, the way that Sangha is organized, the way the Sangha presents Dharma values and lives Dharma values explicitly, fully, and then for the community to step into those values and act from those values or live from those values, that's what makes a place like this thrive. And I'm confident that Insight Santa Cruz had a lot of these over these 30, 35 years that I've known. And it's been remarkable to see its growth and activity that's happened over time. Remarkable where it's come to now. And it has a remarkable future that I hope that no one feels obligated to make it. That it's just kind of everyone's inspiration. Grows and floats of inspiration, Dharma joy, Dharma generosity with the people who are here. And I think the fact that we have Insight Retreat Center so close, I'm sure that many of you know it. It's so close. It's remarkable that it exists, and it's a testament explicitly, people told me, of people who donated to us because we were the culture of generosity. If we had, and we don't always ask them for money. There's a Dharma centers where every time they have an opportunity, they ask for money. Dana. And it's actually kind of rare that we ask. And I'll stop in a couple of minutes, but I would say that some of you maybe receive IMC's fundraising letter. If you read it carefully, it looks like a fundraising letter. It smells like one. If you shake it, it sounds like one. It has a remit envelope, so it really looks like a fundraising letter. So, but if you read the letter, we never ask for money. We don't go that far. So it's just maybe it looks like we do, but we don't cross that line. And so, in one fundraising letter many years ago, I defined an IMC as an opportunity-based center, not a need-based center, because I saw wonderful organizations, nonprofits, they would write these fundraising letters that say, "We need money to pay for the bills, pay this and do this. We need." And they do, and I don't want to undermine their value and what they're doing. But I didn't want IMC to be that way. I don't think a Dharma center should have need. We just respond to opportunities, and we grow in those. And so that's what's inspiring. So Insight Santa Cruz, I think, my wish for you all is the same. You're an opportunity-based organization, not a need-based. As soon as you have needs, you're in trouble. But you have opportunities to support Insight Santa Cruz. Don't say you need to live there. Just there's an opportunity for something to provide it. Isn't that great? Someone has an opportunity here. Paper towels. And so people are just living the opportunity, seeing the opportunity. And there's such a rich community here, such a rich group of well-experienced practitioners here at Santa Cruz, Insight Santa Cruz. You have wonderful teachers. Mary Grace is still involved indirectly or partially. Bob Stahl is still involved. And now we have John here. People like Suzanne, Jim, many of you who have been here for years. It's a wonderful body of practitioners, people here. And so the opportunities are actually infinite. Don't chase them, but love them. Love them into existence. Love them into being. That's and since this is a fundraising event or a generosity opportunity event, money does make a difference to make it all work. And for IMC, it was really clear that we just about always had a surplus of money every year, and that made everyone relax financially, and so that we could kind of be inspired and go forward in our own way. as we, with that, with just being an opportunity-based organization. So that's what I have to say. And I talked longer than I should have. The idea was to have a little bit of chance for you to meet each other and talk about this. I think we should still do it. Are you sitting in it?
I think she's good.
Wonderful. Let's do 10 minutes. Okay? And the idea is, so the people on Zoom, it'll be, we'll do for 10 minutes. And those of you here, maybe a good size is 3. And if it needs to be 4, because that's the easy way, that's fine. Everything's good. There's no, you don't have to fit what I say. But I suggest 3, and just think what happens right for you. And also, you don't have to be in one. You can just sit quietly. Or you could talk to me. So anybody would like to share some comments from that discussion? Anything that you think would be particularly nice for this Insight Santa Cruz community to hear about what was discussed, talk about? We don't want all the details, but just to highlight Shakti in the back.
It was kind of fun at the end. Oh, it was kind of fun at the end because we talked about a lot of things, but we discovered that 2 of us had taken a chaplaincy program with you, and then one other person was interested in doing chaplaincy, so now we're all like, okay, we've got to talk after. And the chaplaincy is really about this, serving and being of service, and really without the expectation of some kind of reward from it, and so I thought it was great.
Fantastic.
Interesting. Yeah.
That's great that came out of the conversation, because that's been a very rich part of the IMC world community, is that the whole scene became large enough we could start doing these other programs. And one of the other programs was 2 of them. Was the chaplaincy program and the eco-chaplaincy program. And the fact that there was enough foundation to allow these things to grow, and that's come back and supported IMC tremendously. So many people at IMC now have been through the chaplaincy program that supports it with praise. And so thank you for bringing that up.
I was so moved that you spoke about the culture of opportunity as opposed to the culture of need. And I shook my head, and could this even be possible? And then on processing it for a little while in a group, I realized that compared to where I came from in this culture, everything about the Dharma is so ideal and idealized that this just fit right in with it. And I am very excited and enthusiastic to think about this as an opportunity-based way of being in the world that I can be a part of.
Yes, and then I think it's easier for you and others. It comes from the inspiration. I want to do this, an opportunity here, I'll step into it, as opposed to, oh, yeah, there's a need, and just settle through it. It's a very different feeling.
Yeah, I feel much lighter. Thank you.
Exactly, fantastic that you got that message.
Is that mic on?
It is.
So is it a mic? I think one of these mics, if you hold it horizontally, and it's designed for you to be a pop star singer.
Does anyone on Zoom want to share?
As I shared in my small group yesterday at our half day, at the end of the half day, we were invited to participate in helping clean up the center. And at first I was like, no. And then we did it in dyad, and we were given our particular space. It felt really good. And it was actually lifted me into delight, So I'm really grateful that, because I did a week-long at IRC at the end in December, where we had our jobs. And at first it was like, oh, more jobs. But it's actually delightful. So thank you. Opportunity.
I think that one of the things that I've learned from the Dharma so much of is it's a lot of fun. It's almost like play sometimes. We're back on schedule. Isn't that nice? I didn't feel the hold to the schedule too much, but now we're back, more or less. And so it would be nice to come here, volunteers, any kind of capacity at all, for Insight Santa Cruz. It's an impressive show of hands. Thank you. And who, some of you are on the board, is that right, who are here? Maybe you could stand, so that might be nice for other people to see the board. Because that's kind of, they're like the, kind of the central coordinators.
Thank you.
Yes.
And Diane.
Very nice. So appreciate that you came so many of you. That's great to see the board here. Some of you I don't think I've met before. It's nice to be here. And so I think that's I've already done everything I wanted to do, I think. But it is, as I keep saying now, I apologize, it's called Children Rasi, keep emphasizing it. But because it's not for me, I can say that to support Insight Santa Cruz is a great thing to do. To give Insight Santa Cruz the financial foundation so that there can be creativity and ease, and the people who volunteers can just feel like, they don't have to worry about the financing, don't have to worry about the limitations, can just feel like it makes it easier for people to volunteer when the organization feels well supported financially. The communities, I emphasize, there's more opportunities if the financial basis is well established, supported, and then feel some confidence that it's going to be there. And I think once IMC had some momentum around the community of people who supported it in all kinds of ways, practicing it, that became the wealth of IMC. That the real wealth is the people who are involved, the people who offer themselves, people who love it and support it. And so I always felt that if IMC ever was in some kind of challenge, that the opportunity to support it, to right the ship in a sense, was there because there's so many people who are there ready to support our community. And so you're a big part of this community inside Santa Cruz. So you're part of the wealth. You're who you are and how you are. And that's what we want to support the most. More than money, we want to support people. We're not about getting rich in these communities. We're really about getting rich hearts that we can develop and keep growing. And So thank you. Yes.
So I should have said it when you asked for comments before, but I just wanted to also remind us that Insight Santa Cruz switched a few years ago where the teachers are separate than the center. And so we get to maybe go figure that out at some point. But right now, that's the truth. So supporting Insight Santa Cruz and supporting the teachers are two different opportunities. I just wanted to make that clear. And for some teachers, they do it from Donna, and others are trying to teach and make a living. And so we need to support that as well.
Well, and I feel a little bit cautious you saying that. Is that I'm not going to get any Donna for this. I like money. And I like it so much that if you wanted to give to me, give to Santa Cruz. Inside Santa Cruz. That would make me so happy. The way I like money. So I think Don. I kind of did that already. Introduce the president. Who's the president?
Jim.
All right.
Boy, you've come a long way.
I'll come up here with Gil, so online you can see me. I just wanted to extend.
They can't see you there. Go to the other side
It
of
almost worked. Anyway, I just wanted to extend my thanks to this entire community. I, as Gil has now realized, I am president. I'm actually coming to the end of my term on the board this summer. So I came in about 3 years ago, which was actually very deep in the middle of the pandemic. And that was a difficult time, not only because there was the closing of the center, but we were also in transition. Linda was on her last year after having given many, many years of service to the center. And when she left, I stepped up to try and fill her shoes, which I'm not sure anybody can do. But then we were also in the process of doing the transition at the teacher's level too. Bob was in the process of trying to retire. JD was in the process of trying to come in and see if they could fill the shoes and it was a good fit and so forth. So we went through a lot of complicated times and it could have been very difficult. But what I discovered is this community is really marvelous. And I've known that for a long time because I've been sitting with it for about 25 years. We had such great people giving on the board, but not just the board. We had volunteers. We had all of you trying to come back into the center when we could open in a wise way that protected everybody, but allowed us to go back to the type of teaching, the type of programs, the type of community and networking that we had before we had to shut down. And I'm really happy to say we're doing that. The people are coming back. The programs are coming back. I think we've turned a corner and we're going back to life as it was before the pandemic with the type of programs, the type of community, the type of networking, the type of support. And that to me is realization of the dream that I have in the community that we did. So I balance all of you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Don's turn.
Oh, I think it's Bob's turn.
No, you're on my schedule, but you don't have to do the schedule. No, I guess you were supposed to introduce the board president.
I did in a very informal way. Also, this name that Jim, our wonderful board president, is emblematic of the kind of generosity that supports this community. Not only is he our president, he's our chief IT person, which is both of those are huge jobs. And just an extraordinary amount of generosity on your part, Jim, and on the part of the rest of the board, on Linda's part. So many people.
He's a kind of a super volunteer. He also volunteered a lot helping with tech stuff at IRC. Thank you for all you did there. It's quite. So, okay. And then Bob's turn.
Yeah, I'm here if you can hear me. Can you all hear me?
Yes.
Very good. All right. So thank you, Gil, and everyone for coming. And I really appreciate too the sharing of opportunity, and I came in a little ways into your talk because I'm in the midst of teaching a retreat online, so I don't know if you mentioned this or not, but in my years in Burma, I never heard one Dharma talk. First Dharma talk I heard was back in the United States because it was so part of the culture. It's just understood. I remember one time my teacher, someone put some money on top of his begging bowl, and I'll never forget this moment where he picked up the lid and put it on the ground and walked away, because as a monastic, they don't even handle money. But it's amazing that within IMC and IRC that really developing this culture, we can learn a lot from you. And I'm always awkward, asking for Dharma because. Coming in the Burmese culture in the monasteries, it was never asked. It was just, people would just offer. It was just part of the culture. And so it may take, well, in your case, it's taken 30, 35 years. It may not take a sometimes like the 500-year view, but I trust there'll be a time that no one will have to do, it'll just be understood. It's just part of the generosity. It's just part of Dharma, because the Dharma excels all other gifts, and everything else will follow if we follow the Dharma and stay true to the cultivation of our virtue, concentration, and wisdom, and to trust that. But Gil, I want to just thank you so much for taking time out to come here and to offer your wisdom and in your experience. So just deep bows to you and to everyone. Thank you so much. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu.
Well, thank you, Bob, so much. It's wonderful to hear you speak so beautifully. Wonderful to see you. And it's wonderful to be here at Insight Santa Cruz community. So thank you, everyone, for having guided. It's been fun for me to be here. Nice pleasure. And so the idea is now is to have some social time, informal time together in community. And I think there's some refreshments somewhere. Are they in the next door or in the back?
No, they're outside on the porch.
Outside on the porch. Great. And so we'll do that for a while. I think it's scheduled to go for I think an hour. Is that right? Because there's something else important at 3:30. It's not on this schedule. I'll leave at 3 because I have to retreat and stuff. So get back up there. So, thank you.
Thank you, Gil.